Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's session on study journey in UK and Ireland. To provide COVID-19 updates on higher education in UK and Ireland, we have selected skilled and expertise from IDP Education India. On behalf of SJSA family, I would like to welcome Ms. Minu Rajan, Destination Manager, IDP Education India, and Mr. Manoj, Branch Manager, IDP Mangalore. He will join to this webinar little late. I also happy to welcome everyone for this webinar. Now I request Ms. Minu Rajan to take forward this webinar.
Hi everyone, good afternoon, and I'm really pleased to be here giving you updates on study abroad. So we are from the IDP India, and we are the one-stop solution for your higher studies abroad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of update about how my presentation is focused more on UK. But I will also give you briefly a little bit of update on how and what you can do in Ireland. And then we will move on to your questions and answers. All right. So that's the platform that's how we are going to move forward. Now, I'm really glad that, so many of you have joined here and are really keen and interested about your career, about your future, and what you're going to do during the situation like this. Okay. So that's something very positive. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and go one after another. Whenever you have any doubt, any queries, what you can do is type in your queries into the chat box, query box, and I will take up your queries later at the end of this session. And before I begin, I hope that all of you are staying safe and all of you are fine. Though you are at home, I'm sure that you're having your online classes and continuing to stay positive and continue to stay together with your family within your houses. All right, with that, let's begin. I'm going to share my screen. All right, fine. So here's a presentation about UK education, scholarship opportunities and internship opportunities. So about UK, so I don't think I should spend too much of time on this slide. So it consists of Scotland, Wales, England, and Northern Ireland put together is what would make it. What makes UK education unique? Globally competitive and recognized education. See, all of you are studying or all of you want to go and do your higher education abroad because you want to get a certificate which is globally accepted and recognized. So the education in UK has a long history to it, and you would know that a lot of famous politicians, a lot of writers, a lot of economists come from a very established universities in UK. So the history of education in UK goes back a long time, and what you get at the end of your degree is a globally competitive and recognized degree. Diversity of choice. So when I talk about diversity of choice, what I can see is that students who opt from anything like a language program, like an English language program, to anyone who wants to do a program like something in space or something about automobile or something about electronics, something about, so there is a wide range of programs available in UK. So that is one of the main reasons that UK is one of the favorite destination for higher studies. Flexibility of studies, it means that you can do your internship as well as your studies. So there is a flexibility of education. I'll focus on this point a little later as I move on in my slide. Working during studies, yes. So UK allows you to do part-time job. So that allows you to make that extra buck for yourself. Another thing is that you also have the option to do internships while you are studying. Multicultural experience, I don't have to explain this to all of you. I think that you know that UK has multicultural experience. That would mean that uh, there is very less, you you must have heard about the recent issues on, people categorizing people into different names or different ethnics, right? So there is no such problem that exists in UK. UK welcomes people from different kinds of background, different countries, different ethnics. So definitely it's an investment for your future if you are taking up a program in or a course in UK or Ireland, I would say. Now, what is something that makes United Kingdom a well-known education destination? The bachelor's degree is about 3 years to 4 years. I am not emphasizing on this because I am addressing students who are already doing their graduation. The master's program is usually for 1 year. Most of the about 80 to 90% of master's program in UK is for 1 year. Now, how is it advantageous for you? It is advantageous for you because while your peers are going to take 2 years to complete their master's program, you would take just 1 year to complete your master's program. How does it benefit you? You save your time, you save your money, you start working much earlier than them. But you might have a doubt then that if the program is just 1 year, and it is the same with Ireland also, the master's program in Ireland is for 1 year. Okay. So if you ask me that, how somebody who is doing 2 years program, how you can finish in 1 year, the program is pretty intense in the sense that you do all the things that somebody is doing in 2 years within 1 year, but it is intense, which means that you will have to learn. You should be able to dedicate more time and more effort towards completing your program. All right. We also have in UK, you also have masters with internships or professional placements, which is for 2 years. What happens in this particular program? Not many universities offer this, but universities which offer this, what happens is that you get to do an internship while you are doing your masters. There is a separate slide for internship altogether, so I will explain you about internships a little further. See, these are some of the standards, quality measures or standards. Like when in India, we say that, it is UGC approved, NAC approved, things like that, right? So in UK, how do you measure, or what are the different agencies which, grade these universities is called TEF Gold or TEF Silver, TEF Bronze or TEF provisional. So what happens is that this is just like how you look at a university. If you want to study here in India, you will say that, is this UGC approved? Is this NAC accredited? It's just like that. All right. So it is based on two things. One is on the teaching methodology. Second thing is based on the research. So if you are somebody who is looking forward to research, or who you want to get into a program which is research based, you should then see that, research excellence framework is there with such a university. So it is a accreditation or a standardization that you can see with most of the universities. So these are some of the recent updates. I think this is why you have logged in here, to understand that what you can do at this, in this COVID situation, what are the updates or what are the things that you can do. So before I move into any slide, what I want to tell you is that you might be having a question in your mind, and I think when I meet students, this is one of the common questions that they ask, that should I put a pause to my thought about higher education abroad, or should I continue and go ahead with my higher education abroad? So the answer is that you should not be putting a pause to your thought about or your plan to study abroad. You should definitely go ahead and continue your plan to do your higher education. The reason being that, number one, is that there are, most of the universities are starting with something called as online hybrid program, wherein you can start your education while the COVID is happening, while the travel restrictions are there. You can start your studies here at the comfort of your house online, probably 3 months or 6 months, and then you can continue and the education by going there and completing your masters. And what are the benefits of this? The benefits of this is that you are not going to show any gaps in your education, in your career. In your CV, there will be no gaps. Number two, uh, during this situation also, you are showing your future recruiters that you are very focused on what you wanted to do and nothing can stop you. So that's something that you are going to show that. Okay. So let's move on to some of the updates. All right. So these are the updates from UKVI, that is the Visa Office India. COVID-19 and visas. UK Visas and Immigration is beginning a phased resumption of service. It opened on 6th of July, and in fact, IDP as such, we have started filing the visas for our students who have already got offers. So that is why, that is the reason I am confidently telling you that there is no need for you to pause your study abroad dream. Okay, so the visa office is open, and we as an office, IDP office, we have started filing a number of visa applications. Now, what happens if you are traveling to UK? Quarantine. Everyone traveling to UK will have to quarantine for 14 days, and this applies to students as well. This is very simple. It is the same thing that we do here in India, right? So when we are traveling from state to state, what are we doing? We are quarantining ourselves for 14 days. In fact, there are certain states in India where people who are traveling from abroad and coming to our country are quarantined for 28 days. So this is much better than that. They are only asking you to quarantine yourself for 14 days. Some of the policies here, students who are stuck in UK can now extend their visas and can only travel back to their home country once visa centers are open. So this is a friendly gesture, or for students who are stuck there, not for them to get panic. Health in UK, that is IHS, Immigration Healthcare Surcharge, will give full access to NHS, and that includes COVID treatment. The test and the treatment does not carry any charge. Students on Tier 4 visa will have same rights as British citizens. So this is a plus point. Earlier, it was not so, but now in this COVID situation, when you are paying your immigration healthcare surcharge, you are getting the full access to anyone like a British citizen to get the treatment. All right. So there is no there is not going to be any partiality between someone who is not a British citizen and not, because this particular policy is going to take care that in case, God forbidden, anything happens to a student who travels there to do their studies, If anything happens, they will be treated in par with any other British citizen. GIR, which is the Graduate Immigration Route, it is guaranteed by the Home Secretary and Prime Minister in an official, and the official statement will be announced soon. So this has already happened. This particular statement is a little old. So any student who is traveling, who is reaching the land of UK, the British land, before April 6th of 2021 will get a post-study work permit. That is 2 years of post-study work permit. Anybody who reaches there before the 6th of April 2021, they will be getting this GIR or graduate immigration route. Now, what is the tier 4 process? Tier 4 is the visa that the student gets. So don't get confused there. Tier 4 is the visa that the student visa. All right. No changes in funding requirement. TB test will be required. It was usual. It was there before. It is there now also. Apply online. Later come to VFS to submit documents. There will be no e-visa process for UK. Biometrics is important to have visibility in the system. That is why you need to go to VFS office. Visa application and document submission process will involve social distancing and safety measures. So I happen to attend this, the webinar by UK Visa Office, and they have told that at most precautions will be taken in the VFS when you go to submit your documents and your biometrics is done. At most, they will only allow one person at a time to go to the biometrics, and every time a particular student's biometric is taken, student or anyone else, there is going to be someone who is going to disinfect the whole thing, where they give the fingerprint. Okay. And so the utmost precautions will be taken, and there is no need for anyone to be worried. Some relevant facts here that I want to discuss with you. Dependents will only be allowed at PG level. So, if there are married couples or somebody, having children, so that is allowed only at the postgraduate level, not at the undergraduate level. And the dependents are allowed to work full time. So there's no worry for that as well. The second point doesn't apply here. Students going to UK increased by 136% from last year. This increase is because of the UK government coming up with the post-study work, visa, which was not existing earlier. So with the government going up with the announcement that the post-study work is coming up, this increase is seen. IHS is increased. The exact cost will be updated soon. Not a good news, but NHS has been doing a lot and students get a full health cover in return. It is just 1% of your student fee. So the good point here is that you get the same treatment like any other British citizen at the cost, a little higher cost. But I think that's the same with, even our health cover here in India. So we increase our premium, we get more benefits, right? It's just similar to that. Online and on-campus delivery. Looking to announce further information on this soon this summer. Expecting students to do majority of the course physically in UK. If first couple of months are done outside UK, they should still be able to apply for GIR, that is the post-study work. This particular statement is already made. And if the students are doing even a 6 months of online program here from their native country, the student still gets the post-study work permit. Okay. COVID-19 test is not mandatory for students to apply for visas. Not just STEM, but all students eligible for GIR. We will discuss this later. After GIR, you need a tier 2 visa to stay back and work. Minimum salary required 25,600 GBP. A sponsor will be required. So this minimum salary required part, before the COVID had hit, it was at a higher, it was 26,000 GBP, Great Britain pounds. Now, after the COVID has hit, that is why this is one of the COVID updates. Now, after the COVID has hit the world, it has been brought down, which means that if a student is getting a job and the minimum salary for him to get the tier 2 visa has been brought down, which is good for the students. Accommodation evidence not mandatory for tier 4 visas, but it's better to have this arranged well in time before you go. Summer in UK is June, July, August. If a student gets a tier 4 visa and can't travel due to lockdown, their visas will be extended. They will need to go to VFS and renew it, but they don't need to pay anything again. So this is again something that the government has done to see that the student community is not getting affected. See, there are a number of scholarship opportunities that is available in UK. Apart from that, the universities are offering. So every university offers scholarships between 1,000 to 5,000 pounds. And that would depend on a lot of things, whether you get the scholarship or not. And there is a separate slide for that. I will discuss that as we go on. But apart from what the universities offer, there are also other scholarships like the Shivning Scholarship, for which the validity is 5th November. Commonwealth Scholarship, for which the validity is 30th October. Scottish Saltire Scholarship. Now, to get these scholarship, that is the Shivning, Commonwealth and Commonwealth Scholarship, you need to make sure that you are making your applications much ahead of the time. So by 5th November, so that means that much before 5th November, because the deadline is 5th November, much before 5th November, you should have finished your application, got your offer, and then you apply for this scholarship. So this is a scholarship which you apply apart from your university scholarship. All right. And see, what you can see below is, you know, this is not all the universities that offer scholarship, but some of them, yeah. So it's very simple, scholarships with universities, both for undergrad and masters, these scholarships are available. And the deadlines are in May, June 2020, or I would say now move to the next year. Eligibility for scholarship. So the scholarships generally, see, when we say scholarship is something that is given to someone to encourage that person to take up the program or take up the course or take up the studies, right? So scholarship is generally based, even here in India, whatever scholarships are available, it is generally available based on your academic qualification and your grades. Better your grades, the chances of you to get scholarship is better. Personal statement. What is a personal statement? Personal statement is other name for personal statement is SOP, statement of purpose. So when you make your application to a university, you send in your personal statement, and in your personal statement you write about yourself in brief, what you are, what you have done. You also write about your aspirations, what you want to do. So for example, I want to take up a program which is all about studies about space. So what is my aspiration? What through this education, what I'm going to do in that particular university? What is my dream? What is my aspiration? What I want to be? Or let's take a simpler example. I want to take up data science, masters in data science. And then I tell in my personal statement that this is where I see myself. I see myself working in Amazon, or I see myself working in, any other organization you take, Dell, so I see myself working in this particular organization in such a position, and later on 10 years from then I see myself in such another position. So that your personal statement should be writing about what you are, what are your achievements, what you have done, and what you want to do. Okay. Recommendations. So if you have not come across this, so recommendations are it's also called reference letters. So since you are studying and I'm talking to a crowd of students, I would say that it will be for you, it will be the academic recommendation, which means that your faculties, your principal, your professors will give you a recommendation letter stating that what have you done in the college or what have you done in the institution which is outstanding, which makes you stand out. And probably you have done a project which is published, so your professor would write about that, how you took the lead or how you took part in that particular project, and launched something or published something. So the professor will write about that, write about your credibility, and that's the recommendation letter. And usually you need to submit 2 recommendation letters, and the stronger the recommendation, the stronger your personal statement, the better your academic qualification, and the better your English language score, the better is your chance to get your scholarship. All right. Internship opportunities. So I told you, as when I began and I spoke about internships, I told you that in the later slides there is a complete set about internship opportunities. So both in UK and Ireland, see, if I have to go back and talk about scholarship, it is very similar in all the countries, all the destinations that you're going to do. The eligibility would be more or less similar. Okay, so if I talk about Ireland or I talk about UK, more or less it would be similar. Now coming to the internship opportunities, which is again similar in both UK and Ireland, with a little bit of difference, I would say. Okay, so UK universities offer postgraduate internships which with 6 months or 1 year. So in the beginning, we saw that postgraduate programs are usually 1 year, but there can be a 2-year postgraduate program, right? So the 2-year postgraduate program is where you will get a 1-year internship. Okay, 18 months, 2 years duration after or during studies. Mostly during studies. There's another slide where I will speak about why should you actually choose internships if available. More than 25 client universities provides 150 plus postgraduate courses with internship. Internship opportunities like Microsoft, Dell, PwC, etc. Now, this is a very interesting slide for me because this is where you will know that why should you consider internship. All right. So probably you really didn't know why you should consider internship. And internships particularly very important when you study any other destination, whether UK, Ireland, or any other destination you take. If you are traveling abroad and you're studying, then you should make use of the internship opportunities. Why? Because you need to network and establish relationships with professionals. So who are going to provide you the job? Where are you going to get the job? So you see, like here in India, we have job placement fair, where in your college, there might be, organizations coming and doing the placements. So sorry. It doesn't happen like that everywhere. So you need to build your own network to get these opportunities. So networking, one of the easiest ways to network is to do the internship. Just one moment. I'll just pause. I'll just get some water. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, so networking is one of the most important things, and networking is going to get you that professional connects, and these professional connects are going to get you the jobs. Okay, second thing, and most obvious, is monetary benefit, because there most of the internships that you take would be the paid internships. All right, then access to new ideas and ways of working to give you the competitive edge. Now, for example, there's a recruiter who comes to recruit, and he gets two students, one who has done an internship and another one who has not done an internship. Obviously, the recruiter would go for somebody who has already done an internship, because the recruiter knows that that particular student has already been exposed to an environment, exposed to an organization like environment, and he will be able to start much quickly than the other student who is not at all had any internship. Okay, gaining valuable industry knowledge and experience to input on CV for improving long-term career prospects. I don't have to explain this to you. I think all that I said earlier adds up to this. Enhance interview skills and receiving an employee reference. So when you're trying to find a job anywhere abroad, you need to get an employee reference, right? So if you have already got an internship, if you have done your internship and you have made your professional network and connection relationship, then definitely for you to get an employee reference is most easiest. Okay, so this is the maintenance fund and living cost in UK. I think this slide is pretty obvious here. So about £1,265 per month for living cost if the student is studying in inner London. Inner London, just like if you're staying in Bangalore and Mysore, right? The cost of living in Bangalore will be more than the cost of living in Mysore. So it's just like that. So if you consider, Bangalore to compare to London, similarly, the cost of living here would be more, and therefore the cost of living in London will be more. It's a city, right? And the cost of living outside London is slightly lesser than what you see it in London. Okay, so these are some of the documents required for visa. Why am I telling you about this? The reason being that you need to start your application process as soon as possible. And when you are starting your application process, at the back of your mind, you should also know that what are the visa documents that you need. Okay, because you start preparation for that much in advance. Okay, so valid passport, travel document. So if any of you dream to go abroad and study, one of the first things that you need to do and should do immediately is apply for a passport. CAS number, if not recorded on the application form, this CAS number comes to you only after you get your offer from the university, particularly from UK. Okay. Evidence of English language ability if included on the CAS. Now, we didn't touch upon this much, but something that I want to tell you is that, see, we are not the, we Indians, our native language is not English. Hence, we need to prove to the universities that we can understand the class which is taken in English. For that, you need to clear some of the English test. So it can be either IELTS or it can be TOEFL, or there is also Duolingo, which is available now, which you can take online. All right. So these English language tests, if you have not started thinking about it, you should start thinking, you should start preparing yourself for these tests. You should sign yourself up for this test. In one of the later slides, I will talk about it definitely. You won't understand the next point. If applicable, ETA certification. This certification is given to some of the particular programs. All right. So depending upon the program that you are selecting, this might be needed or might not be needed. Now, I can just read through all these documents that is needed, all right? But you will still be having a lot of queries about it. Simple thing that I want to tell you is that this is where IDP comes to help you. So the IDP, if you are going to start your application with us, we will help you with all these documents. We give you a complete visa counseling where we tell you how, what, when to arrange these documents. All right. So you need not worry too much about it right now. Just you need to know what you need to submit. But I think that I will just skip this and move forward. Okay, this is very important. Admission requirements and application checklist. Because this is something that you can still work on and still you can get certain things. Academic grades, a minimum academic percentage of 55% and above for universities, and the top universities will require 75% from a recognized university. I cannot communicate one-on-one. If not, I would have asked you what are some of the popular university names that you would have heard. So if you have heard about Cambridge, Oxford, etc., these come into the top universities. And for these top universities, you need a percentage which is higher than 75, I would say. But anything above 55%, if you have, you can look and you can actually apply to the UK universities. Work experience is needed in certain programs. For certain programs, which is MBA, not all MBA require work experience. There is also freshers MBA, which means that you right after your graduation, you can do the MBA. So for your benefit, because you are all students, what I'm telling you is that all MBAs do not require the work experience. So you can still apply for MBA. Some of you, if you desire to do a management program, you can do your MBA without experience also. Okay, so this is where I spoke about the English language test, right? So this English language test, as I told you, it can be IELTS, IELTS, or TOEFL, or PTE, or there is also the new one, which is Duolingo. So if you are taking IELTS, you should have an overall band of 6.5 and no bands less than 6.0. All right. If you have already done a bit of research, you will understand this, what it is. If you have not done, I would suggest you go back and read a little bit about these English language tests. If you are taking TOEFL, a score of 92, and if you are taking a PTE, it can be 62. There are some universities, the good part is in UK, standard 12 English is also acceptable by UK universities. So if you have got 65% and above in your English language in your 12th grade, then some universities waive off these English tests. So that's a good part, okay? Those of you who have already got above 65%. Those of you who have not, then you should definitely start thinking about taking these tests. But let me tell you that for your easy process of visa, it is always good to take one of these tests, English language test. Okay, now coming to the application checklist. See, when I say application checklist, this is the standard checklist. It can, you can have a few additions or deletions from here, depending upon the university you're applying, depending upon the course that you're applying to. Now, what I am showing in this slide, admission requirement and application checklist, this is applicable for both UK and Ireland. Okay, for Ireland, the academic percentage requirement is about 60%. Anything above 60%, you can apply to Ireland, but less than 60%, it is very difficult to apply in Ireland because the number of universities in Ireland are fewer, and therefore, one of the criteria that they look at is your academics, which is above 60%. The checklist would be almost similar. Application form, about all universities, you will have to fill up the application form. There are certain common application forms through which you can apply to 4 or 5 universities together. So when you contact your counselor in IDP, your counselor will help you to make this application. So whatever I am taking you through in this presentation, and whatever documents required, everything will be explained to you when you come and talk to one of our counselors, right? Application fee. Now, all universities doesn't have this. It ranges between 15 to 20, about 50 to 100 pounds is the application fee generally, but all universities doesn't require application fee. Okay, so about 70% of the universities doesn't require application fee. That's a good point about UK. Mark sheet and certificates. So that's, I think, one of the common criteria to apply. Test scores, that is IELTS, TOEFL, PT, Duolingo. Statement of purpose that we discussed earlier, that where you write about your achievements, what you have done, what you are, and what you want to achieve. That's a statement of purpose, SOP. All right. Letter of recommendations. Again, we discussed this earlier. I'm not going to repeat this now. Resume or CV. So this is very important. This is how they understand and they know that who you are. So they go to through your CV, and there's a standard format which will be given to you, which you can work on. Work experience letters for those who have work experience. Portfolio for design related programs. Okay. Okay, so we come to this slide which talks about the opportunities. Part-time work opportunities while studying in UK. The conditions are you're allowed to work for 20 hours during term time, which means when your classes are going on, so you go from 8 a.m. to 1 or 2 p.m. to your classes, and the rest of the time that you have, 20 hours per week is when you can do your part-time job. 40 hours per week you can do when you are on your vacations. All right. So most of the time you see that people who go to UK or Ireland to study, they don't come back in vacations. That's because they can actually do a good part-time job, and they can have the monetary benefit there. The university needs to be to have an official UK VI sponsor. This your university will help you. Can apply for part-time jobs only after receiving the BRP card. Now, what is a BRP card? Your BRP card is something like your Aadhaar card. Okay, so it's like your identification card that you get once you land in UK. Okay, so these are some of the conditions that you have before you start your part-time job. What are the kinds of job that you can do? You can do anything that is, retail, hospitality, administration, telesales, data processing, etc. Campus jobs. Within campus also you can do part-time jobs like mentoring students. So you're good in math. So what you can do is that, let's say particularly in math, you're good with, algorithm, or you're good with a certain particular math. So you can go and teach your fellow students in your university, university library, lab facilities, etc. So, work as assistants there. Monthly wages vary between 450 pounds to 550 pounds. That is if you are working in any of these part-time jobs. Apart from this, I'll give you an example of part-time job. For example, you are very good in sketching, okay, or very good in drawing. So you can go and teach close by Montessori school kids. You can go and teach them the basic sketching or basic drawing, and as simple as that. So that's why I gave you this example. It is as simple as that. All right. Steps to find part-time jobs. It's very simple. All right. UK and Ireland both has huge Indian student communities. Okay, so remember that anywhere you go abroad to study, not just in UK, Ireland, there is always there a huge Indian student community. All right, and that is something that is going to support you. So you start looking at opportunities before you join the universities. That means that you need to go with the readiness, preparedness. Contact the career team at your institution for information on jobs on campus and in local business. Check localized job listing in newspapers. Browse popular part-time job websites like Student Jobs, Career Group London, and E4S. Join job vacancy groups on Facebook, Google, and Yahoo, and keep yourself updated on latest vacancies. Apart from that, this is your biggest support system is your Indian community who will help you to find this job. All right. Okay, so let's come to this reasons to choose IDP. So I am representing IDP, and why would you choose IDP as your partner in in your study abroad dream? Trusted since last 50 years. We are listed in ASX. We are the proud owners of IELTS. We have placed over 1, 10, 100,000, 10,000, 4 lakh students worldwide. Okay, that's a huge number. So if you actually do a bit of research and understand that what is actually the number of students who have gone, you will see that this is a huge percentage of students that we from IDP have sent. UK visa success rate of over 99%. You understand that? So that's a huge number. That means that the 1 or 2 rejections that happen might be because of a certain thing that the student has a certain criminal record or something like that. Other than that, we have not had any visa rejection. We are partnered with over 80 UK institutions, and this is still counting. I tell you why I say this, because every month we have a review to see if we can partner with this university or no. So we get a lot of universities who want to partner with us, and we make a choice whether we want to partner with them or not. And we have certified counselors who help you with your journey and with your journey to reach your dream destination, to do your dream course, dream program. All right, so before we move into questions, what I want to do is that I want to give you briefly, I spoke about Ireland here and there, but briefly I want to tell you about Ireland. So Ireland as a destination has been pretty popular with students who have been looking for programs in data science, who have been looking for programs in computer science, IT background students. Uh, Lately, also a lot of students who are looking for biomedical, engineering, and finance-based programs. So Ireland is most popular for these programs. Why these programs are popular there? Because the job opportunities are ample in these fields there. So it is easier for you to finish your master's or undergrad and get into a job into these fields. Okay, so that's number one. And number two, even in Ireland, it is a 1-year program followed by 2 year stay back, just like UK. And you can do your masters, and it would cost you about 25 lakhs is what would cost you for both your fee and your staying expense. On an average, little bit of plus and minus here and there. All right, so that's about it. You can also, just like UK, as I told, in UK you can do part-time job in Ireland as well. 20 hours per week while you are in your studies and 40 hours per week while you are on your vacation. So that's in brief about Ireland. So what I will do is that I will stop sharing and then we will start taking your questions. Dinah, do you see the questions coming up? Yes, Diana. Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Diana, I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. As of now, no questions have come from students. Uh,
Okay,
Dear
so
students, yeah, thank you for your attention. As you all know that we have signed MOU with IDP Education India Mangalore branch, and they are always ready to help you and clarify your queries always. Now Ms. Minu is ready to clarify your questions. If you have any queries, please write it in the chat box, and she will ready to clarify your doubts. Miss Minu, I just wanted to ask, for 1 year course, you said experience is not must. For example, if students are changing streams from engineering to management, so it will apply same as you said in your presentation for MBA or for 1 year course. Experience is not must, even for
right.
changing the stream.
Yes. So as it happens here in India, like for example, you are doing your graduation in a technical field and you want to do an MBA, it is possible in UK also. So there is no need of, it is not compulsory to have an experience. Okay. But at the same time, if you have an experience, it is definitely an added advantage to you. But to get an admission, it is not compulsory to have experience.
Okay. Right, pandemic spreading all over the country, and most of the countries are suggesting for the online classes if same situation continues. Is fees will be same, or they will be deducting for the online classes?
All right. So here, see, I'll tell you there. Apart from fee, you know, the another way how you are going to save on your expenditure is you are going to save on your staying expense, right? So apart from the fee, yes. So talking about the fee, there are many universities who are coming up with reduction in fees. I wouldn't say a very, very big substantial amount, might be a smaller amounts, okay? But how can actually you as a student, how can you save your expenditure? Are you able to hear me?
Hello?
You're able to hear me? Okay, all right. So the universities definitely are working on their fee structure, and they might be giving slightly lesser fees, amounts, because might be you're not using their labs, or might be you're not using their library, etc. So therefore they will reduce that particular amount from the fees. But how can you actually save big is because you are cutting down on your staying expense. You saw what was the staying expense in London. It's quite a bit, right? So you can save on that particular part, and that's quite a lot, I would say.
Okay, okay. Those who apply before Jan 21st, and they will get 2 years of post-study work, you said. For example, if students are not able to apply in this before January 2021, if they apply after that, will they get 2 years of post-study work?
So I said April 6th, 2021. Okay.
Okay.
So anyone who starts there, so you will have to be there in UK before April 6th, 2021, which means that either someone who is going for a fall of 20 or even a spring of 2021 would be eligible for this. As of now, this is the directives from the government. This will change as and when it will change. We will keep you updated. This would mean
Okay.
that, for example, if a student who was supposed to go for a fall intake, September intake of 2020,
Okay.
and he or she takes up the online program, then what happens is that he or she can do their 3 months to 6 months of online program here, and still if they land in UK before this 6th of April, they will be eligible for the post-study work permit. All right, that is a 2 years of post-study work. This
Okay.
directives keeps changing, but as of now, for students, any student who goes before this, it is the same. But post this, whoever goes, there could be new directives, which we will keep you updated on.
Okay. And also I wanted to know, to get internship, is universities will help the students? For example, if they are very close with the professor, yes, they will get opportunity to be an intern. But if they are not, will they get some help from the universities?
Yes, definitely. For the internship, see what happens is that internships are always part of the curriculum, So either it happens like, you finish your academics and then you do your internship, or the internships are sandwiched within your academics. Okay. So it is part of the academic. That's the good part. And because it is part of your academics, the university, the professors help you to find that. But see, anywhere you go abroad to study, you cannot just sit in your class and imagine that the internship opportunity will walk up to you, right?
Okay.
You have to put in your effort. Uh, even if that happens, then it might not be the best opportunity that you get, right? So the
Okay.
more effort that you put, the more proactive you are in connecting with people, connecting with professors, being there. See what happens. This is one tip that I actually want to give any Indian student who is dreaming of going abroad. What happens is that our culture has been of a very spoon feeding culture, where the professor kind of prepares everything and kind of gives it to them, and all they do is just read through it, right? It doesn't happen like that. You need to be very proactive. The more you interact with other communities, so don't be confining yourself to a few Indian friends. You should broaden your prospect, or friend zone, or your the people that you know, the people that you connect. You should broaden that and try to connect with more people. Try to connect with other than Indians, other people, from other countries, so that you broaden your insights, you broaden the way you think, and that would definitely help you in getting an internship. Is it my network or is it?
You're audible, actually.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Because I don't get response. Sometimes I'm wondering if
Students, if
people
you
are
have
able to
any
hear me.
questions, you can type it in the chat box.
All right, all right.
We'll be happy to answer to your questions.
Okay, so what I would say is that Diana, if you can hear me, Diana, are you able to hear me?
I think Diana is having some network issues here.
All right. So what I would suggest is that since there are no questions posted here, you can put together all the questions and you can send it to us. We will eventually answer it to you and send it back to you.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, some network issues.
That's fine, Diana. It happens.
Yeah. And last question. for quarantine, if students are traveling by December or Jan, universities will help students for this quarantine facilities. Hello?
Yes, so most of the universities are organizing within their campus for the quarantine. All right, and that is why what will happen is that all the students, they would see that all the students do not reach the university campus at the same time, so they will have a staggered entrance of foreign students into their land so that they can conveniently quarantine them in their accommodation. So most of the universities are doing quarantining the students in their own accommodation.
Okay. Yes.
But if there are students, so we have students who say that they don't want to stay in the university quarantine facility.
Okay.
So in that case, they can always look for something of their own as well.
Okay. So I think no more questions. Yeah. Yeah, we will going to end this webinar. Yeah, thank you for accepting our invitation and giving a wonderful presentation about UK and Ireland. Thank you, Ms. Midu. And I also thank Mr. Siju for helping us to host this webinar.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, and wishing all of you the best, the students out there, wishing them the best that they can achieve and they can do very well for yourself, and stay safe, all of you. Thank you to SJEC Mangaluru for having us here and giving us this platform to speak to your students. Hope this was helpful.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rakesh, for the seamless management of this platform.
Thank you, Rakesh sir.
Thank you. Thank you.